How you doing, lad? You alright?
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad,
Right, all good.
Nice one. Welcome to This Is My Story podcast with your newly upgraded, better looking host. My name's Liam Corbett, and I'm ready to wow the nation on the airwaves tonight.
That was absolutely rubbish.
Blown it already, I know. He literally texted me pre-pod being like, have a bit of patter. Failed already, haven't I?
You've completely face planted the first hurdle, not even got anywhere near over it. You've just completely ruined it. But
absolutely. No, but week has passed since last week. We're still top of the league. The good thing about an international break hasn't changed since last week. So, yeah, but Brad's, how we doing?
Not bad, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing how you fuck this up, seeing as you fucked up last week. So, watching how you thumb in this one, this will be good. I'm excited for it.
I'm definitely going to come out with I'm nervous, I don't know what I'm doing, patter again, haven't I? So,
I think we could play a drinking game of how often you nervous laugh the whole way through doing this. This will be great.
Wait a minute, you can't be saying, nah, I'm working tomorrow, there's no chance. I'd be absolutely cabbaged.
Go on then, Kev, how about you? Right.
It's been good. It's been a weekend of no football. It's bizarre. As most of the listeners will already know, I cannot be arsed with international football. As far as I'm concerned, it's pish. Don't quite get the whole idea of supporting players on a Sunday or a Saturday one week and then giving them absolute dog's abuse at Tynecastle the following week. So, stuff it. International football can get in the bin.
Fair play. And to our biggest Scotland fan on the podcast, Ando, how you doing?
We've been over this already. I'm not going to bring it up for the listeners, but they already know that I've been to a Scotland game in the fairly recent past, and that was purely by accident, as we've covered already. So thanks for making me look like a mug. But my week has been not bad. I was obviously away on holiday last week, as you'll have seen from the broadcast last week. Came from my shagging wagon that we had hired for the week. Managed to get out of that holiday with my ass intact, despite a closely run incident in Lossiemouth, but we'll save that for extra content. But aye, all good. Glad to be back with you chaps.
I did get a text from a mate last week saying, has Ando been kicked out of his house and living in his car? But, so, just, do you want to confirm to the listeners you are okay? Like, everyone's all right?
I'm okay. You will see the scenery behind me is back to normal. And actually, a point on this, I have actually moved my Hoover. Tam got a little bit uppity earlier on because my Hoover was in shot just over next to the football jersey that's just over my right shoulder that you can see. And aye, it's definitely going to make an appearance, probably at your funniest point. I'm going to hold the Hoover up to the microphone and just completely fuck you up.
I like the fact that he told you to move the Hoover, but he's not even mentioned Kev to move the needles and all the crack off the fucking floor in his room.
Is that a giant Jenga set that's behind you, Kev, now of just cardboard boxes?
I've been misleading everybody that I'm actually moving into a new house. It's not actually the case. I've actually started to just collect boxes and I'm going to make a fort. Fuck it.
Kev's also been kicked out of his house.
Anyway.
Kev's also been kicked out of his house and is living in the Amazon warehouse. So, but yeah, I welcome to This Is My Story. I'll do the wee spiel that Corbett always does. Your unofficial Hearts podcast and views are all our own and none of the clubs and total nonsense. But yeah, Ando, if you want to do us with the socials, because I forgot to do that.
So if you want to reach out to us on the socials, you'll catch us on Twitter at This My Story Pod. If you want to email us via the website or whatever, it's admin@thisismystory.uk, and on Instagram, which Shanks is in charge of, which he probably never updates and no one's ever probably spoken to us on, is at thisismystory1874. So there we are.
Probably like 17 photos of his cats with heart scars on them.
Because he's forgotten the account that he needs to log into. You know what's really, really shit is that his cats probably have more followers than we do on Instagram. Do they? Fucking hell, I was joking. That's tragic.
Talking about Shanks forgetting stuff, obviously the McCanns, remember, he's no turned up this week because he just forgot to turn up again. So Kev's going to take the wheel on that tonight.
Aye, but we'll no be writing home about it, that's for sure, Tam. It's I mean, we give Shanks absolute dog's abuse for the fact that he can't mind anything to do with any game, even one that he was at only a matter of like weeks before, given his assessment of the Aberdeen game the other week there. But do you know what? This is actually one of my favourite parts of the podcast, is his actual ability to splash shite but sound really good at it. And I'm not even going to try and get myself into the same league as him. So I will apologise in advance of this week's Shanks McCann in honour of the big. Like a lot of games, we started slow. Seems to be irregular. We were down to an early goal by the big bald coot, and thankfully we equalised with a divine free kick from he who taught Ronaldo how to take them.
There was a free quick.
I was going to say, Kev, we know you're old. You are the grandfather of the podcast, but go and put your wallies in, and maybe run that past us again.
Did that not come out? I'm going to blame you.
I don't even know what you said because I just got stopped with free quick. I was like, what? Tuned out for the rest of it.
Thanks. Cheers.
I like that. I liked it, mate.
That's fine.
What was Shanky's for last week, Kev?
I don't know. Give me a second. No, it was sent over to me. So Shanksy's from last weekend was an absolute belter. So he said, a pishy, freezing Wednesday night, 14,000 inside Tiny. Miko played a blinder, got level with 3 minutes to go, limbs. On loan Bristol City man with pishy highlights, clashed in the box. Then the linesman gave it. 2 red cards later. He was never going to miss. Spewing. So for those of you who did anybody reach out? Did we put it on the socials last week?
Nah, this feature just doesn't go on the socials, to be honest.
Right.
It's,
Okay.
It did in the first week, but it's...
We're slacking on that basis. So in regards to last week's Shanks McCann from the Ginger Wonder Kid that is, was Hearts versus Rangers on the 2nd of March, where we got beat 2-1, as it says, with a certain decision given against us by the Lino.
Nice one. Cheers, Kev. We'll try and get on the socials this week. And now from a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Bike Speed UK. Any Jambo using the promo code This Is My Story will get 10% off at checkout.
For every biker's every need, think Bike Speed UK. From motorcycle parts and accessories to the best biker wear. Think bike, think Bike Speed UK.
Nice one. So, yeah, I'm not really hosting the night. I'm just going to pass off all the jobs to the rest of the guys and I'll get involved a wee bit. But we've got our very own Jackie Bird in the studio who's going to go through the headlines. So, over to Bradley.
Cheers, man. I'll take that as a compliment. She is in there. So this week, obviously, there's not been masses happening, but something we spoke about pre-show was just kind of off the back of last week, the Foundation of Hearts, the pledges have actually gone substantially up. And I think Stuart Wallace is tweeting tonight saying that they're well over their milestone of an additional 600 pledgers this week. And since Barry Anderson's article today, it's been another 50 plus. So that's incredible, Kev. Like, what's the magnitude of this?
I mean, it's massive. You know, I think we spoke about it last week that even just those who had actually signed on last Monday with the handover of shares, etc., etc. I think when we recorded last week, Stuart had already tweeted saying it was like 200. So 200 new subscriptions or new pledges had actually came out in the space of like 24 hours. And even if you take that as the minimum value of a tenner, that's staggering amount of money, $2,000, extra per month. That times over the year, it just adds and adds. To see in the space of another week, 400 more again, 50 extra today. It makes a massive, massive difference. And we know perfectly well that not every single pledge will just be the minimum value of £10. I think £10 is the minimum, isn't it?
I think so, aye.
Aye. So, 10, 15, 20 quid, even some folk who can afford to pay 50 quid, or more than that, it just shows you what the draw of the club actually is. Maybe some people were waiting for the actual handover to actually happen before they. But I'm not saying put their hand in their pocket, because let's be honest, as fans of the club, we've all been putting our hand in the pocket, not just for the last couple of years. We've been putting our hands in our pockets virtually since the day we were born. And this particular club was bestowed upon us. So it's great to actually see, and you can actually really sort of understand what it actually means to everybody else. So it's great to see, and thank you very much to every single one of them who's done that.
Ando, as a co-owner of this club now, you must be fairly happy with that.
Definitely. I think I made a joke on last week's podcast saying that I was going to go and get fitted for a sheepskin jacket because I am now a bit like a big Ron. I can consider myself an owner. So provided the weather isn't too fiercely hot on Sunday, I expect to see me at Tynecastle in my sheepskin jacket. I've got one on.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see
absolutely brilliant. I'm going to get big blacked out sunglasses, a big cigar. That'll be me. Come swaggering in there, stoating in there, going like, "This is my club now." Yes, feels good.
Oi, Robbie, come here. Robbie, come here. Come here.
Aye, exactly.
This is your last fucking warning. You play this slow again, you're out of here.
We've got your willing replacement lined up and ready. His name's Liam Corbett. He's just sat up there.
It's the real reason that Corbett's not with us tonight. He's actually speaking currently with his lawyer about what the contract actually looks like.
I was going to say that earlier. He's sitting with his agent. What's that? That Mino Raiola trying to get fucking money out of Hearts. So he's big time Charlie. Tambo, what about you? Thinking of has this got legs to keep going, the Hearts fans?
100%. As Kev's mentioned, like, people were waiting for the metaphorical keys to be handed over, sort of thing. I think they wanted to wait till, as much as she's been amazing, they did want to wait till Budge was kind of not the owner to start putting their money in, so that the fans are actually in charge of their money. And you know what? We're kind of going to come on to it, but 600 in a month, does that cover Barry McKay's wage? There's another player in the door, roughly cover the majority of his wage anyway. So it's class to see. If we can keep increasing it, it'd be amazing. So what's the total now? Was it 8,300? I don't see any reason why you can't get towards like the 10,000 mark sort of thing, eh? So
trying to do quick maths in my head there, but just those 650, if they're doing the minimal pledge, that's what, 78 grand a year. That's a substantial sum. So yeah, it probably covers Corbett's wage for the year when it goes in. So that's been a massive thing. The other thing, obviously, massive news today is that we've signed Barry McKay, which for me feels like another coup. I think we've definitely been recruiting in the right places. We all know him. Like, we know his quality. We've seen him at Rangers. We've seen him when he went. Where was he away after that? Was it straight to Swansea? No, not then Swansea. Then Fleetwood, wasn't it? So
yeah.
Aye.
I know he's not had a good run down south, but we know what we're getting with him, and we know that. I think he's a better version of GMS. If I'm being honest, I think he's more direct. He's got better legs. He's younger. He's fitter. He plays on that left wing, so I think he'll get the nod over GMS for me. But I think it's good, and we touched on it last week. It's good to have quality options challenging players. Like, for too long, we've had boys resting on their laurels because they know that they're the best centre midfield in the squad. So they know, I can play Pish this week, but I'm still going to be playing next week.
Yeah.
I can play Pish in the wing. I want Gino being challenged. I want Boycey being challenged. I want somebody coming in and going, nipping his heels, going, I'm fucking better than you. I want a shot at this. The same with GMS. That we'll maybe see him up his game again. Now that we've got somebody like Barry McKay going, well, I want your spot. I want your place. And then if they do have to change it after Robbie's usual 60 minutes, then it's replacing quality with quality. It's not being quality with some dross or some youngster or some unknown that we don't know.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Ando?
So I'm delighted with him. As you rightly say, he gives us more options. And not to labour your point at all, but if you have competition for places in these areas of the park, it's only a benefit. If you look at any of the other teams that have been successful over the years in Scotland, there's always that competition for places. If we've just got the same guy playing in that position because he knows he's the stick on for it. That doesn't really benefit anybody. He can have an off week and know that there's no penalty for it. So, I expect quite a lot out of him, and obviously to drive everyone else forward. So I am a massive fan of this signing.
Right, I think it's class. Tam, you're a football manager advocate. What's he going to bring? What's he bringing to the squad?
I'm a football manager advocate, and genuinely, I don't even know what year, he was a wonder kid to sign on Football Manager. I'm not even going to lie, he was brilliant, man. But having Football Manager's a wee bit different, so I won't go into his stats and
No
all
way.
that there. So,
No way. Playing that game
it's
is
a wee
different
bit
from real life.
What, virtual reality or whatever it is, I don't know. But no, having watched a lot of sort of videos today, he is quite direct, which is good. He's fast, he's skillful. I think he sets up a lot of chances. I think Joe Sked wrote an article on it. I've kind of stole Ando's line here, but when he was looking back at his time at Rangers, he'd set up numerous chances that never actually got converted into goals. So that's the type of thing we need. And it can only help Boyce as well. But going forward, I think somebody who's going to bring something a wee bit different. And as you guys say rightly as well, it's about the competition in places. And if you need to look at the bench for a change, what does that mean, sort of thing? We've got good quality there, rather than having Elliot Fear or Jordan Roberts, or try to think of other pishy wingers we've had in the last. Castanier, aye. The only question I have for you boys is, does this mean the end for Jamie Walker?
Aye, for me, I think he's fallen out of favour. As soon as Robbie was mentioning the whole fitness thing and the family going the defensive, as soon as he's not even getting a sniff at kind of coming off the bench now, really. I think his time at Hearts might be slowly eluding away. Kev, what are you thinking?
I get where these signings that are coming in. Barry McKay is a great signing. He's not somebody who's going to go and score you the kind of goals though that Jamie Walker scored us. If you look at what Jamie scored last week, what was it? He got into double figures, I think, last week. Jesus Christ. Last season he got into double figures, or he was definitely 8-9 anyway. Maybe it was 8 or 9 in the league, and maybe I think what you've got to remember is that Jamie does give us something completely different. So there may be occasions, there may be games where actually having a Jamie Walker on the bench is actually a better option than somebody like McKay or GMS or Gino, because we know that Jamie can hit the back of the net. So from that point of view, I don't know if it is Jamie's sort of last stance as such. If he goes, then he goes. That's he's got to look after himself. He's got to look after his family and everything else. But I would hope that he does get another chance of at least a run in the team, just to see if is it your last stance? Is it the last option? Because I still haven't seen, as you rightly say, enough from GMS to say that he's always going to be a start. We don't know what the fitness is like for Barry McKay at the moment. We don't know about Gino's fitness because he's not started enough games. Neither. The only one we know that's virtually a starter every single week is Boyce. And from that point of view, that's maybe the other player that we need to maybe get a wee bit of challenge in there.
So, for Walker to be as effective as we're hoping for, and as you're saying, I think he's better suited to that traditional 4-2-3-1 and sitting in the middle of that three, playing the 10 role, the second striker, or the false 9, or whatever it used to be called. Ando, does he fit into this 3-4-3?
I don't know, is the short answer. I think I've got a lot of time for Jamie Walker. He's been a fantastic servant to the club, and I think that for him to almost be I don't want to say pushed out, but almost marginalised, that kind of feels the way that it's going for him just now, which is he is an impact sub, as we've seen towards the end of last season and so far this season. We know he's got goal capability when he has to come on and deliver, but I think I'd be absolutely gutted if this was the end for him. And as I've said already, he was marginalised. It's a completely sort of like ignominious exit. It's not fair. I think he probably deserves, as you say, Kev, another run in the team. But then again, does he fit into the 3-4-3 with the personnel we've already got? Given the fact that he's a little bit older, what is he now, 28, 29, something like that? He is that, you know, we've got better people in those positions that are younger, probably fitter. So I don't know. My gut instinct is no. I don't think it works for him just now. I think we have to keep him up the sleeve as a super sub. But for me, that doesn't feel right. I think he deserves more.
Yeah.
Sorry, boys, I didn't even set you up with that. I just went in and decided to ask a question on the fly without giving you any prep time.
I'm absolutely shocked that you're half cocking this time. Absolutely shocked. And on that kind of marginalised, that takes us in a perfect segue, Ando. You're pro at this. For another headline was obviously the player who's probably our most capable dribbling with the ball going forward. The staff seem to love him. He's got great statistics, scores in all the reserve games. Hendo, fuck off out on loan, mate. What are we thinking of that, Tambo?
I'm not that sad to see him go. I think he's found his level, to be honest with you. They're not even championship anymore, actually. So, no, he's probably not. He's probably a bit better than that. But I don't think we've seen enough of him last season to kind of see that there's something there, but there's also, I don't know what it is. There's just something that isn't there as well. Like, I don't know if he doesn't like the physical aspect or he just, I don't know if it's nerves or something, but he has the occasional bit of brilliance, but I think he's probably best to go and get some game time somewhere else, reassess. If he does well, he could maybe sign another year, but I think it's a bit right that he probably should go out on loan. He's not going to get a chance with the 4 wingers, 2 strikers we've got in at the moment, I don't think.
Ando, has he been given a fair crack at the whip, or what do you think?
I think absolutely, yeah, he has been given a fair crack at the whip, because I think without having all the facts at my command, I'm pretty sure we signed him. It would have been sort of 2014, 2015 kind of era into the youth academy, and after that amount of time, you have to consider that if you're not going to make it after 6 or 7 years, then you probably aren't going to make it. But then that's all very well and good in isolation. But then my question back to you would be: do we trust Robbie Nielsen in the footballing department with these decisions? So, are you 100% bought into the fact that Jamie Walker is being marginalised and that excuse me, Ewan Henderson is being put out on loan? Do you trust in the management of that scenario to think that actually in the long run this will be a benefit because of what we've seen so far in terms of positivity?
Okay, Ryan.
I get where you're coming from, Ando, I really do. I think it's not maybe a question of do we believe in actual Robbie, but do we believe in what the actual setup looks like nowadays? So from Andrew McKinley all the way down with Savage, we've all listened back to we've listened to the episode with Savage on, and he comes across really prominent about how he wants to improve all aspects that he can have an actual impact on. And that does then come down to the playing squad. That's going to be what he's assessed on, is the playing squad and how we as an actual club perform over the season. And if you take Ewan Henderson as an example, and you look at Ewan's position, does he get in front of boys? And if everybody was fit,
not a chance.
No chance. Yeah, you're right. Does he get ahead of Nando? Even if as Nando being like a second striker, I don't think he even gets to that level. He's not also, when you consider we've now got four wingers, and McKay, GMS, Gino, Walker could be, you could put Walker into that particular category as well. We've brought in Woodburn, who has the ability to play both through the middle as well as on the wing. Does he get ahead of any of those 4/5? Probably not. So is the right thing to do, as Tam said, is for him to go out, get some game time. Personally, I think I'm a wee bit annoyed that he's went to Alloa, only because they're just a little shitty team. But I also think that he is maybe more Championship level than he is Division 1 level. But again, you maybe look at who's now at Alloa from a managerial point of view. Can he maybe bring him on? Can he actually make, for all that his footballing career might not be at Tynecastle any longer, can he actually perform something with Ewan Henderson? And I'm saying that by Barry Ferguson. Can he give something to Henderson as a player that will allow him to actually maybe compete at the sort of Championship level for the next 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it may be? I don't know, but I think that's an element that I would look at from that point of view, is that you trust more in the whole package of the club nowadays than just Abraham being on Robbie's shoulders.
So the short answer to my question is yes, you do trust.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
That's all we needed, Kev, but thanks for that.
We also do have a new head of youth as well, don't we? So I think his name's Paul Thompson or something. But
just made that up.
Yeah. That's Tam's neighbour.
No, but like surely he has something to say. What's Naismith's role? It's something like...
Oh, he'll be this loans manager guy or whatever.
No, he's like...
Football development manager.
Football development. Maybe he's got something to do...
Or are you talking about the guy, John McLaughlin? Is that who you're talking about?
Nah, he's a goalkeeper. Man.
He plays for the Rangers, mate.
No.
Fucking hell.
We've got an academy coaching manager. He was the boy that came in. His name was, I'm sure it's John McLaughlin as well. But did he not come in with... brought in by Savage to go in and look at the academy and look at how it's performing from all age groups. He'd done something similar at, I think it was Southampton. So yeah, I mean, there's another element of the sort of setup of the club nowadays that is maybe actually asking us a little bit more. Do we believe in the full setup? And with that then means that we'd also believe in Robbie.
Yeah, I think in a nutshell, Hendo's issue is that he's an out-and-out striker. And we trying to shoehorn him into a winger position where we've got better winger options. We don't play with a second striker, so we don't play with Boyce or Ando with a wee man running off the side of it or the back, your old kind of John Robertson role. We don't have that anymore. So he doesn't fit the mould for us. So he's better going out to somewhere where he's going to get game time, get more experience, and eventually I think he'll get a move on somewhere.
Yeah.
That seems to be the headlines for this week, unless I've missed anything.
No, I think you've covered it all.
Sambo, you're going to take us through our derby moments, I believe.
Headline: Scotland are going to qualify for the World Cup.
What's the score, is it?
Well, that's getting cut. Exactly. Piss off, Tam.
Nah, to be fair, Craig Gordon didn't get injured and got a clean sheet, so that's all right.
More interested in him getting a clean sheet on Sunday. Thank you very much.
Yeah, 100%. On that note, good segue, Kev. But
you're welcome.
Obviously, it's Derby week, so we're going to cover our favourite sort of Derby moments, Derby goals. I'll just have a wee chat because last week we obviously kind of preempted the game, talked about last week, so it's not as much to talk about this week. So who wants to kick us off? We go Ando first of all.
Sorry, what was the question?
Just favourite Derby moment, mate.
Oh, favourite Derby moment, right? Okay. Aye. So this is the bit where we.
He was too busy booking tickets to Qatar there.
Get his kilt bought.
He does look a bit like Steve Clarkson there, doesn't he?
Chance. Are you kidding? Steve Clark's got more hair than me. Fucking hell, Brad. So favourite Derby moment. We were talking about this in the pre-show. It's very easy to go with the cup win. It's very easy to go with the 4-0 semi, and all that sort of stuff. But initially was going to go for the 5-1 Destruction Day, or Demolition Derby, I should say, not Destruction Day, Demolition Derby. But I went back even further to Hibs 2, Hearts 2, from Sunday the 1st of October 1995. Now, all the young team that listen to this are going to go, oh, fucking no bother, Grandad. A game for 1995. Then Kev might choose one older than that. I'm not even sure what he's going to pick. But
Kev tells about the 1946 3-3.
Aye. He just had his tuberculosis vaccine and he was away out to the football for a night out in the town. Oh, God.
Flat cap and everything.
That's it. Hibs 2, Hearts 2. Now, I wasn't actually at that game because I was only, I think, by my reckoning, 14 years old, nearly 15 years old. back then. I watched it at my granddad's house because my mum and dad didn't have Sky back then. So we went over at my granddad's house to watch the football, and it was that it was just absolutely fantastic. It's one of these games. It's a bit like the 4-4 draw, right? It feels like a win just because of the pure get it right fucking up your nature of it. John Robertson, just cut to the chase. John Robertson basically scores the winner in the 92nd minute, according to London Hearts. And that was where
That was a draw.
Pardon me.
It's a 2-2 win.
Sorry.
2-2 win, all right.
Aye, that's it. It was
It's like the
it was a
4-4
2-2 win. Aye, like when we beat them 4-4. When Bobby Williamson had a face like fucking thunder. But aye, so it will be referred to as a 2-2 win from now on. Thanks for correcting my unfortunate error, Tam. But aye, John Robertson scores the winner in the 92nd minute. Obviously, that a ball flighted in from a free kick. Is a wee bit of head tennis. It bumps around all over the place, falls to his feet, and he bangs it home. And he's come out with that sort of immortal line. It's not over until the fat striker scores. Now, that for me was one of the best Derby moments. That entire house went absolutely shit crazy at that, and it's just it's that sort of get it right up you mentality that I love at derbies. You don't even have to win it. It's just the last ditch nature of it was just phenomenal. It's a bit like Ali Mozturk when he scored that sort of however many yards.
It was
goal.
74.
Aye, there you go.
It gets longer every time you see it.
Is it?
Excuse the phrase.
I heard 105. However long it is, but aye, it's that for me is one of my favourite derbies because it was just one of those ones. Even at 14-year-old, I'm pretty sure I was on my knees, fist pumping the telly, going, "Get it fucking right up, you shower of horrible." That'll need a bleep. Aye. But aye, that was one of my favourite derby moments, and I wasn't even at the game. So aye, Hibs 2, Hearts 2, 1st October 1995. You will find the highlights on YouTube. For any of the young team that are not aware of that game, go and look it up, then and watch the highlights, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's absolutely a brilliant game of football.
I'll definitely need to watch that back myself. So
Such a dick, aren't you?
I was only 3-year-old. Can't do it to help it. Bradley, go for it. What's yours?
Well, mine's actually wasn't even that fucking exciting a game. It was a fairly pishy game. My favourite derby game was the 2013-14 season. The 1-0 win, second game of the season, I think it was. Patterson scored. And again, like, it was a fairly pishy game, but it was so poignant in that game. Obviously, we just had our points deduction, the whole episode, and they were fucking up for it. Like, before the game, they were proper going for it. There was a wee bit of argy-bargy in the streets beforehand. It felt like a proper good old-fashioned derby from back in the day, and they were giving us so much stick, and my mates beforehand were giving us it tight. So even just the magnitude of winning that, but it was one of these games that I had to go and watch back because me and my old man got absolutely plastered in Benson's beforehand. Just I don't know how my dad managed to pull this one off, but we were quickly just getting double vodkas in before we left, and he went to the wee old wifey at the bar. It was like 4 double vodkas, and then I don't know if you've ever been in Benson's, but they had a doubles octave, so you just had to press it at once, and then that was your double. She was getting herself confused, so was putting quadruple vodkas.
Jesus Christ!
And so we had 4 quadruple vodkas, and there wasn't even any fucking space left for the mixer. So we were down in these things, like, honest to God, like rocket fuel. I turned around to my dad at one point in the game. He's sound asleep. I'm trying to watch it through one eye because I'm literally seeing double in the park. Me and him just had such fun. Came out of the game. It was socially acceptable for some reason. Still do the 5-1. I'm standing like that, getting a photo. He's like that. 5-3. Couldn't even look at his fingers. Couldn't count. That was a brilliant game for me. I absolutely loved that, and the fact that the average age of that team was about 18-year-old, and pumping them. Like, fucking get it around, Jace. That was brilliant for me. That's my best. That's my topper.
Sounds good to me. Was that an early kickoff as well? Was it?
Aye, because my mum came in and it was 4 o'clock, and I was lying face down on the living room floor.
Fucking
And
hell.
my dad was sleeping through the back, and my dad's a big softie. My mum went to wake him up, and he went, "Go to just get yourself to fuck in." And that's the first time I've ever seen my dad get sent to his bed. And I was laying on thick, like, "Oh, I'll have a word with him, mum."
Well done, Charles.
So I think we were both home and in bed by like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. It was brilliant.
Big shout out to Charlie Bradley. What a guy.
Chuckles Brad's better than the Brads we have on the podcast. We need to get him on for a cameo. He's a good laugh.
Kev then, so back to 17-14. Where are we going?
That was really good. 17-14 when we weren't even actually a club.
I know, I kind of fucked that up.
Big time, mate. Big time. That's what you get for being a twat. So I was, everybody remembers, I was looking through a number when we spoke about this, and I was going to go with the good old David Abua finger blaster. What was it, the 87th minute or something like that, when he actually scored to win the game 2-1. And I was very fortunate enough to get a ticket for that particular game. But thinking back, I think I've spoken about that on the pod before. So I'm actually going to choose a game that is probably maybe not forgotten to an extent, but it's not maybe got as much of a sort of aura around it. But to me, it has, and it's the game. So everybody remembers the Dale Carrick, Billy King derby at Tynecastle, where, of course, I believe the story is that the team had the chance to actually relegate us on that particular day. There was going to be a big party, and unfortunately that didn't actually happen. But I think it was something like 4 weeks or 5 weeks later, we actually went down to Easter Road, knowing that already I think we were relegated, so we knew we were going down because we did drop points at Partick Thistle. However, we actually had the chance to bring our famous friends from across the city down with us at that particular point, and our makeshift striker, Mr. Callum Patterson, scored 2. Jordan Foster did score for Hibs in the second half, but the thing that I'll always remember was just how mad Callum Patterson used to celebrate goals. He just had this thing about him. And there's a boy on YouTube, sorry, but I don't know what your name is, that's actually put a collection of them together. And see if you're ever feeling depressed one day, work's getting you down, your relationships maybe just in the bin, whatever it may be, and you need a real pick them up.
Don't phone Tam.
Yeah, you're on the phone, Tam. What did they... Yes. Go on to YouTube, Patterson goal celebrations, and sit there for the next 3 minutes, and probably I think it's about 52 seconds or whatever. And honestly, it's nearly as good as watching Pornhub.
Wow, that's quite a bold statement, Kev.
That's a bold statement. It is a bold statement. But
You should have sent Ando that link when he was chucked out his house last week.
Don't come after me, Tam, just because you're getting an absolute sort of kick in the balls on this episode. Don't come after me.
So that's that, as I say, because of the fact that helped effectively put the nail in their coffin, and it's maybe not looked upon as big a game because of the fact that everybody remembers the 2-0 game at Tynecastle because of the party element. I actually prefer that game down at Easter Road. Like I think most of us would probably agree that we actually prefer a victory down at Easter Road than a victory at home. It's always better to go down to Leith and come back with 3 points. But yeah, that would definitely be mine.
Yeah, we've certainly seen enough of wins at both grounds. It just kind of merges into one anyway. To be fair, but my sort of memory, well, not memory, but my favourite sort of game was the 1st of January 2011, where the Kevin Kyle game, where he scored that header for the most unusual at angles. When Novakovac came on and changed the game, I think he came on about 75 minutes or something, but he just came on and absolutely ran the show. No, that was a great game for me, just for the celebration alone. Big Kevin Kyle was...
It was a beauty, that one. It's like, no matter how many times you watch it back, you look at it and you just go, that somehow has defied the laws of physics actually getting in there.
Yeah.
How he managed to squeeze that in is absolutely phenomenal. So,
he's basically on the byline at that point, isn't he? Really, when he's headed it.
And
it's just to force it, and the keeper's just had to palm it.
It's so unusual for a Hibs goalkeeper to fuck it as well. Like, I've never seen that before. Like,
it was.
Talking about it, no.
That was a good one. The best thing about that though is not the fact of that; it's more the celebration afterwards. Kyle in the Wheatfield stand and the Jet celebrating in the old stand with the fans behind the dugout. It's absolutely superb.
I was just about to add that. That's what made it as well. See, watching it, like even the highlights back. To be honest, it's probably just relevant in my head because I think it got posted today by either the club or Amoruso lets it run or something. So it was just in my head when I seen it. I was like, that is amazing. I love that game. See what I miss as well. Games on actual New Year's Day. Like, when was the last one we had? I know that we've got one on the 2nd of January this year against Hibs, but I couldn't tell you the last one was actually on the 1st of January.
That could be the last one. That genuinely could be the last one, mate. Because I can't think of any other that's actually been on the 1st of January since that particular fixture. As you rightly say, there's always been either ones like the 3rd of January, or they've been doing them now in between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah,
because of like the police and things like that. But I think that might be the last one that we actually played on New Year's Day, because I remember having to like walk because I knew I couldn't drive a car, and I probably wouldn't be able to actually on the bus because I was just effectively put a big cloud of alcohol and beer around about everybody else. So yeah.
Can you just for clarity, Kev? Can you actually drive a car now?
Yes, yeah, I can drive them now. I'm allowed.
That's fine.
It's
Just
one
checking.
of these old boys that has a license that lets them drive everything. Like, you can probably drive a bus and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm allowed. I'm allowed to do that. Everything up to anything over 3.5, I can't. 3.5 tons, I'm not allowed to drive. But anything from 3.5 and downwards, not a problem.
This is proper class patter. You want to talk about it?
This is what it is. We're going to name it. We'll talk about this is my driving license podcast.
This is my HGV course.
Fucking hell, But Kevin, someone, if it's smaller than an aircraft carrier, you can drive it, right? Nice, good. All.
Nice. I don't even know where to go for that. Bring Corbett back, man. So obviously I will go into the sort of the weekend. I know we kind of previewed it last week, but we've all kind of forgot what we've said. We've signed another player. Who wants to kick us off? How will we line up? How will they line up?
Right, I'll go first because I've got the furthest distance to travel. I will be jumping on a train. Well, not
I meant
jumping
the teams,
on the train.
but no us. But that's fine.
No. If you can just let me get to the end of my point, Tam. I'm going to tell you about this part because I'm joining a train at 9:15 from Newcastle to travel up. By the time I get to Edinburgh and the skinful I'll have had, then it doesn't matter how we line up. I don't care. All I give a shit about is the win. I don't care if it's 1-0 and it's a first-minute goal and we have to protect it for 8 to 9 minutes. I will take any victory against these. I don't give a shit how it happens. Part of what's going to happen at the weekend is about the atmosphere and the day out for me. I think it's been so long since we had a good result at Tynecastle against those mob. Then it feels like a long time ago. So all I'm caring about is getting a bevy with you fine chaps, enjoying the day out, and just getting the win by hook or by crook. I don't give a shit about formation, tactics, who will play. I really don't care as long as we win and I have a good day out. Because I have built this up in my head for weeks now about how amazing a time I'm going to have on Sunday, and it better not disappoint.
Who are you kidding? A 9:15 train from Newcastle, and you found a wee shop around the corner that sells Bucky. I hope Ando's missus isn't listening, by the way. Fucking line up. You'll end up in a lineup. That's what's going to happen.
Well, that's all part of the experience, Brad. It's absolutely fine. I've already factored that in. I haven't booked my train back down until Monday afternoon after I'm out of the court, so we're fine.
So, anyone got any
I've actually
tactical?
I've written down a team.
Okay, go for it, Brad.
I've actually
Tell
written
us
down
your
a team.
team.
And you can pick holes out and say it's shite. Gordon obviously in goals. I'm going changing the back three, so I'm going Suter, Halkett, and I'm going to put Taylor Moore in. With the wing backs of Smith and Cochrane. Harron and Benny controlling the middle, and Gino, Boyce, and Woodburn as my front three. Tell me how it's shite.
Right, okay, so see my whole bit about not giving a shit about team or tactics, I'm going to reverse that and say, can we just go with that? I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
No problems with that at all. I'm totally on board. The only question would be is bringing the new guy in. At centre back, first off, is that a bit of a risk?
Yeah, I think that's my only concern is Moore. Do we know what the issue is with Kingsley? Is anything? I've not heard the club come out with anything recently to say if he's back training, or are we taking it that he's not actually going to be in the squad for Sunday?
I was
at all?
under the assumption he would be back, but my assumption is usually way off, so I wouldn't take that for anything.
Usually push. Right, okay. Yeah, I think I don't see any. If it is a case that Kingsley's not on the team, I personally don't see any particular issues with that squad whatsoever.
The only reason I put Taylor Moore in is I thought he's young. He's probably going to be a bit faster than Suter and Halkett. He'd be the one to man mark Boyle
If Boyle plays.
If Boyle plays, I think he's going to be the main target. The main threat is the speed, because we've seen fucking Nicky Clark outrun Halkett and Cochrane the other day there. So have somebody who's actually got some pace about them, that could be an issue. So I'm hoping Taylor Moore might bring that kind of stability or kind of neutralise Boyle in that aspect. If they get to that, I mean, fuck it, they'll be 4-0 down by half time. So that's the plan.
Well,
See, I quite like the look of that team, but I can't see Nielsen taking Halliday out of that occasion. I think he'll want somebody a bit experienced with a bit of aggro, and I think he'll put him in. I don't know if it'll be left wing back or centre mid, but I wouldn't be surprised seeing him in the starting lineup.
No, I think what we'll see is what I actually might see will be Gordon, Suter, Halkett, Cochrane, and Halliday playing left wing back. Maybe not even Woodburn in the team. It might be GMS. I think Robbie will go with what he knows. I wouldn't even be surprised to see the 4-2-3-1. But I'm hoping he goes more offensive than defensive.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what Corbett has mentioned a number of times before. Was that the guy that used to be on the pod? Aye. 10 minutes away, probably getting his hair cut or something now. Is the fact that if Jack Ross then we'll sit down over a couple of beers and say, do you want to just take a draw? And as we spoke about last week, you know perfectly well that Robbie would probably go, aye, no problem at all. Whereas I hope that Robbie's got that sort of Dick Dastardly sort of mask on, and what he actually comes around and says is, aye, no problem at all. But really, we will be 4-0 up at half time, and then from that point of view, push on. Rather than his usual, let's sit back and relax on a 4-0 victory. No, he's never done that in his life. But I think it would be nice to see that particular front three that you've nominated and put in place, Brad. A part owner of the club, I think you should be the one to go forward and put that forward to Robbie on Friday afternoon.
I'll say to him, but by the way you're talking about it, him and Jack Ross are probably sharing a travel lodge on Friday night, Saturday night, so...
Could well be, mate. Could well be.
Does anyone know anything about how Hibs line up? I know obviously they've got
in green and white, mate.
Murphy, Boyle, Nisbet.
Well, you're the closest thing we've got to an expert after happy clapping the Scotland team all summer.
They've got McGinn, and Nisbet. Is that not it?
That's about it.
Tell you who they've not got for Sunday. Barry McKay. Get it round, jeez.
Up he's.
There was actually a nice little dig from Joe Savage earlier on the day. I thought that was quite funny.
I did enjoy it.
Absolutely. So we all done our predictions last week, but I'm guessing everyone's forgot.
No, we didn't do predictions last week.
Or did we not do predictions last week?
Ando had to set them up, so we've got predictions tonight, and we'll need to go out and get them for the other two reprobates that weren't able to make it tonight. So we'll need to remember to do that.
Nice one. So how's the predictor looking, Ando?
What's that? It's dog shit, really. To be fair, if I'm looking at the live league table after last week's results, we've got some cow called Brad brackets show host who's top of the pile on 20 points. and then Jay Walkett 94, second on 18, and then Andy Dixon, friend of the show, on 17. Corbett is away down in a lowly 12th, and then Kev has overtaken me. He's down in 24th. So I am absolutely convinced that I'm going to get some points back this weekend. But if by the time you listen to this, the questions will be live on the website. So it's thisismystory.uk/predictor. If you haven't registered already, you may as well register now because, well, Hearts are always just a bit maverick, aren't they? You'll easily be able to make points back on Brad's, who's top. So this is mystory.uk/predictor. Get your guesses in for this, and I'm going to say I'm going uber confident here. Sunday's going to be one of the best days of my life, on paper anyway. And Hearts are going to win 3-0. That will be my prediction. It is bold, it's ballsy, and it's gonna happen.
Ooh,
Nice.
If we win 3-0 on Sunday, call the league. It's done. Just get that trophy to Tiny. It is done.
So, Brad's, what's yours?
I am going to go for a 1-1 win for Hearts. That's how it works, Ando, is it?
It is,
win.
if you score after
90 plus.
Well, not even then. 85 minutes or later, and you equalise. It's actually really a win.
Look, I'm going for a solid 1-1 win then.
Nice one.
Kev?
I get where Brad's is coming from. To be honest with you, I think you always if you sit in the Robbie dugout, you'll probably always be thinking about what they can produce and what they can actually do on our own ground. However, I am in between both, so I am going to go with a home victory, and I am going to go 2-0.
See, the only devil's advocate on here before Tam jumps in. They've played 3 of the 4 bottom teams in their games.
Yep.
They've not done anything. They've not shown any sort of talent yet. They played against a pishy Livy side and didn't really do anything against them.
Yeah.
So I don't think they've been pushed yet. Fucking.
Yeah. Is that you changing?
Post Corbett 6-0. Put me for 6-0.
Yeah, when you play like that, and we've played a Celtic team, an Aberdeen team, a Dundee United away, and a St Mirren away. Aye.
They're going to score in the 85th minute.
Aye, that's honestly why.
Fuck's sake, Tam.
I know. I just think it's. I think we'll match each other. It's going to be a tough one. Both teams will be confident going into it, but I think there's a lot of danger in these games that they can become a bit of a bitty game and just be more about the occasion rather than the actual technical abilities of the two sides. And I think it'll just come down to a few odd chances here and there. I hope I'm wrong and we get a bit of a spectacle, plenty of chances from a Hearts end anyway. But I think it's got the shapings of being that, to be honest with you.
Fucking ruin my weekend, Tam. For God's sake.
As I said, my assumptions are usually way off, so just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
So I think that's us, boys. Have we got anything else to talk about? I know it's a wee bit shorter this week.
Like
No,
you.
no, it's fair enough.
Okay.
That was absolute savage for Brad's, but I like it.
Sorry, mate.
Nah, I appreciate it. Well, have a good weekend, boys. I hope we're all celebrating on Sunday. We'll obviously all be at the game again, so I don't know if we could do like a late night live reaction, but we can do something.
Well, I'm going to be drunk
sure.
on a train heading back down south. That'll be a right laugh. So
yes.
yes, let's do it.
That's if he's not in a lineup.
So
Exactly.
ScotRail Wi-Fi better be up to it.
I'm travelling to
nice
England,
one.
mate, but never mind.
Check if Stockton's got Wi-Fi, Ando.
Actually, Tam, you're probably not doing anything on Sunday. Can you just stand outside with your phone outside the prison walls, and I'll just like hotspot you or something like that. If there's no Wi-Fi, nice one. Sound.
Nice one. Right, cheers, boys. See you next week.
Catch you later.
Go get
Later.
it.